Hey everyone, how are you? We are going live everywhere. We're going live on Instagram. Hey everybody, nice to see ya. Marble. How do you find the perfect paint colors to go with your marble? I get this question all the time. People think that there are multiple hue families in these slabs of marble. It might be your bathroom. It might be your kitchen. Ooh, that made a loud noise. Let me see what I'm getting a message here for. Hey, how are you? Yeah, I'm going to walk you through how to measure marble and measure it with a device, a handheld color measurement device like Color Muse or NYX. I'm using a Spectra 1 Pro from Variable. It's upside down. They all work similarly. Like the one I'm using is a spectrophotometer. A colorimeter is a Color Muse or a NYX. And I'm trying to log in everywhere while I'm talking to you guys because we are going live on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're everywhere. So, but we're good. Everything's turned on. So I have two different samples. They're similar, but just to prove a point and show you how to do it. And it doesn't matter what kind of marble you have, granite, quartz, whatever. This is the same process. This one's called Macarana and this one's called Bianco Carrera. And I think we're going to do the Macarana one first. I'll try not to bang them together. And I can share my screen with you guys. So like we're literally going to walk through and do this from start to finish, the whole process, and we'll see how quick we can get it done. I'll show you how fast it goes. Macarana, I have my Spectro. I need to turn on my device. See that green light? I need to go launch my app. I'm going to have to show you on my iPad because I can't share that. So I launched the Spectro app from Variable. And it's connecting the device. It tells you what it's doing. It counts it down. And it only takes a couple seconds. And now we're ready to go. It's going to say scan now. But as you guys are well trained, if you've been following me, we never, ever use the basic color matching feature in these apps. Whether you're using a NYX, a color reader, or what did I say? A NYX, a color reader, or one of the spectrophotometers, the more expensive, bigger devices. Whether you have a Color Muse, a color reader, or a NYX, right? You never just use that basic color match function in these devices. We got to go get the LCH values. We're looking for the hue angle specifically. So what I want to do, because I'm not scanning now, I'm selecting compare in the Spectra app from Variable. And you have to tap there for quick compare. You want to check and make sure that your settings are D65 illuminant, 2-degree observer. I love it because it's always notated right up there for me, so I catch it every single time. It defaults to the LAB values down here in the data values window. LAB values, actually, that's how paint colors are made, right? They use the LAB values, but they aren't very intuitive, and they don't do a great job of describing what the color actually looks like. That's why I like to swipe this way and get to LCH. And again, all of these values are available in all of the apps. It doesn't matter what device you're using. I have to remember to look up. You guys are up there. I'm talking to myself down here. You just want to go get the hue angle. Just to make sure you have the right settings. And in the NYX app and the Color Reader app, that can be challenging. In the NYX app, you can't get a combo of D65 and 2-degree. And in Color Reader, they don't even tell you what they have, right? They don't even notate the illuminant or the observer. But it's going to be close enough, as you're going to see, because I work in ranges, which is another issue with these data values, right? With the color science, with the lightness value, the chroma value, and the hue angle. A lot of people get wrapped around the axle of the precision of the numbers. Well, we're not measuring a 2x4 with a tape measure, is what I always say. We're measuring color. We're using a device that captures the energy of the colors, and then the computer inside the devices transforms those measurements into data values that define and describe color appearance to a human being. So, I mean, it's, if we're a little bit this way, 5 degrees, and a little bit that way, 5 degrees, it's still freaking amazing that we're able to do this. So one of the key color tools we need is the Color Strategist color wheel. You can get one of these. It looks like this. This is a 6-inch Color Strategist color wheel. It's a sticker, or you can leave the backing on. I have notes on mine. Or you can leave the backing on and just use it as a color wheel. It's extremely durable. It's vinyl. It's heavy duty signed vinyl. As a graphic designer, so I knew exactly what I wanted my color wheel made out of. It's super durable. And yeah, they're only $10 on thelandofcolor.com if you want to go get one, but this is a big one. And so yeah, we work in ranges, hue angle ranges. These are the hue angles on the outside. These are the Munsell color hue families on the inside, and they correlate. So if you have something at 90 degrees, it's the yellow hue family, right? So, and the reason why the LCH hue angles correlate with the Munsell hue families is because Munsell was the template for the color space where LCH lives. It's called the C-Lab color space. So C-Lab is the color space, and LAB values that we saw in this first window, the LAB values and the LCH values are the two ways that you can format the notations in the C-Lab color space. So C-Lab is the whole big thing, and you can choose an LAB format or you can choose an LCH format, right? An LAB is lightness. The A stands for redness and greenness, and the blue stands for blueness and yellowness. And LCH is lightness, chroma, and hue angle. So that's just, that's the background of C-Lab if you're interested. To simplify it, if that was too many words, if that hurt your brain, all you have to remember is hue angle. Just one thing, right? Just the H in hue angle. Just remember that one. And that's what we're going to go get for this Macarona marble. So I want to take my device, whatever device you might have, and you want to place it strategically on your sample. If we look here, we can see there's a bit of white. There's kind of a medium color, and there are a couple darker patches. And you want to, take a read of all of them. And as you capture that hue angle, write it down. And we can do a thing called multi-point averaging. You can do it formally with a calculator, right? You can add up all of the hue angles and then divide it by 3 or 5 or whatever and get the average. We'll do that. Or you can just kind of do it in your head, which is what I do most of the time. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put the spectro on the more white part of this sample. I'm on that stripe. And I'm going to tap Scan Standard, and it takes just a second or two, and boom, there's my hue angle, 125.8. We're going to call that 126. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that down. I'm going to move it to a medium color in here, and I'm going to tap Scan Sample, and boom, we have the hue angle for this region of the sample, and that's coming in at 175 degrees. And I'm going to move it. There's a dark spot here. See that dark spot? I'm going to put the aperture of my device right on it, and it blocks out all ambient light. So this is just about this color. And I'm going to tap Scan Standard. It's going to be the first line for this color, and that's coming in at 201 degrees. Okay, so there's 3 measurements from this one piece of marble, from this one marble sample. Take a handy dandy calculator. Have to use a calculator because all of my other devices are busy doing things where I would normally just pull up a calculator app. I had to dig around my house to find this, by the way, you guys. So I'm adding 126, 175, and 201. And it's like, do I still know how this thing works? Yeah, I do. Okay, that comes out to 502, and I divide 502 by 3, and I get my average hue angle for this piece of marble, which is 167. Okay, so if you're looking for an average, that's how you do it. because that's also a common question. It's like, well, this has so many colors in it. How do I know which one I'm supposed to use? Which one am I supposed to pull for the paint color? Well, you have a choice. There's a range, as we just found. I'd call it 130 to 200. We're going to use that range, 130 to 200 for all of the colors in this marble. And we'll see where it puts us in color space. We can see where that puts us in color space, and that's 130 to about 200 degrees, right? So it's a pretty big range from the middle of the green yellow hue family through the green hue family over to the middle of the blue green hue family. Yeah. So did I have one? Yeah, 175 was the green hue family. So it's not just one hue family, right? It's 3 hue families. But the thing to remember, the point is, and this is what you're going to find with most materials and the colorways of most materials, unless it's some kind of a pattern, right? I mean, this is a pattern with more than one hue family involved, probably. That's really not a good example. I'm going to take that back. I don't know. I don't have a good example of that, what I'm talking about. But, something with flowers on it, or, a pattern like this. This has more than one color in it. It's pink and it's blue and a little bit of green in there. But most materials like tile, marble, you're dealing in a very tight range of hue families. And in this case, the range is green, yellow, green, and the beginning of the blue-green hue family. So we know that because we just measured it. So what do we do now? We have our hue families, right? There was no visual gymnastics involved. We're not taking color chips and, fanning them out and trying to figure out what color matches it the best. Finding a strip that looks like it's close and then trying to eyeball which one I want. This is what I mean by visual gymnastics. And no one should be doing that in the year 2024. You shouldn't be trading out paint chips, trying to eyeball a match. And I'm going to show you why. Okay. We're done with our app for now. I'm going to take you someplace else and you get to go with me. I'm going to take you to the land of color, and I am going to show you the paint color DNA table. It's a subscription only. It's a monthly subscription. It's $10.97 a month, super affordable. And I can do that right now. Let me share my screen and the paint color DNA table. I'm sharing it. Let me get us situated here so you have a nice big view. Okay, this is it. Welcome to the paint color DNA table. So if I scroll up, here's a link to get that color wheel if you want. If you click on tutorial, it's a drop down. Here's a quick little video that talks about hue, value, and chroma. And here are some basic filtering operations that work in the table if you want to drill down and get really specific about how you search for paint colors. You have all of these options. All of these operations will work in these filters unless it's a drop down like family and brand. But this is what I do 90% of the time. And I give it to you right here in the tutorial. You can copy and paste it. This is my favorite operation. So this is exactly how I do it. I go and I copy it, and we're talking about hue angle, right? So I'm going to paste it into the hue angle filter. And this operation will work in all of these filters: lightness, chroma, value, Munsell chroma, and even LRV. Hue is the number for Munsell. We'll talk about that another night. So yeah, so this is my favorite operation that I can use to focus in on lightness or chroma, whether it's the C-Lab L and C or the Munsell value and chroma. This is, it's just the do all global filters. That's what's my favorite. And if you want more information about any of these attributes that I just rattled off there really quickly, I have these micro tutorials for you. It explains exactly what they are. So there's a little bit of coaching built in here. So I wrote down my range. When we measured this Macarona marble, we were getting hue angles between 130. You put the smallest number first, and 200. Okay. Let's pick a brand. I usually always do Benjamin Moore, and I'll show you why. And then when I do these videos, because Benjamin Moore is right here at the top, right? So let's scroll down through all of the brands that I have. I have Pharaoh and Ball. The LOC are my Haint Blue colors, Magnolia Home, PPG, Restoration, no, and then here's Sherwin-Williams. And we are always adding new colors. Like we have to round out the Pharaoh and Ball collection, for example. So D65 2-degree observer is, how the DNA table is structured in terms of notation. That's the standard that we use to measure all of our colors. Sherwin-Williams, we have our hue angle range, and all we have to do is click the magnifying glass here in the search bar. The table turns gray for just a hot second, and we already have the results. So what are these results? All of these colors fit into the same hue angle range as this piece of marble. I'm going to turn this banner off. Right? So that's why we measured the marble. To answer the question, what colors go with this marble? Well, all of these colors go with this marble because they have the same color DNA. It's the same hue family. And it is quite the range. We have quite a range of colors here. If I look at all of the colors in our results, let's give them a quick count here. It's probably about 300, 250 to 300. I'd say 250 colors. But as we're scrolling through here, you can see that some of these colors are very bold and very strong, like pickle. Yeah, just because it's in the same hue family doesn't mean that it's the right value or chroma, right? So what do? How do we narrow this list down to just reasonable and viable wall colors or cabinet colors, right? Well, you could paste my favorite operation into the value and the chroma filters and drill down on a specific lightness value or chroma value if you wanted, but I have shortcuts built into the table for you. Near neutrals. These are colors that have a Munsell value between 0 and 8.12 and a chroma less than 1. Light near neutrals are lighter. So they have a Munsell value between 8 and 9, we'll say. And they also have a chromaticity below 1.0. So for this color, I'm going to click on the near neutrals shortcut, and then I'm going to click the magnifying glass, and it turns gray for just a hot minute again. And now we have our results. These are all of the Sherwin-Williams near neutrals that go with this Macarona marble. You want to know how many colors there are in total? That's 25 on the first page. We can go count them. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. About 35 colors. Only 35 colors. Out of all of the Sherwin-Williams colors in their collection, only 35 are viable wall colors or cabinet colors, right? There's some darker colors. If you wanted a dark bathroom, you could, these could be wall colors too. It just depends on what you want. But these are the near neutrals from light to dark total that go with that marble. There are no other colors from Sherwin-Williams that are options. There are no other colors. We can do light near neutrals. And again, these are the only light near neutrals from Sherwin-Williams that can work with this marble. Period. You got your answer. So how many light near neutrals do we have? So there's 25 on the first page and 26, 27. So if you want a lighter color, there's only 27 options for you from Sherwin-Williams, and they're listed right here. Now you could take a screenshot of all of these if you wanted, we're going to do something to make this list even smaller. We're going to edit it down. I'm going to shop this list and I'm going to show you how that's done. But before we go, let's say you want a color of white before we leave this search. Let's say you want a color of white. You just click the white shortcut and then you click the magnifying glass. And these are the 4 colors of white that directly relate to the colors in this marble. You have ceiling bright white, you have snowbelt, you have winsome gray, and you have serendipity. The one with the least amount of chroma is winsome gray, and that is going to look grayish. Snowbelt might be a pretty option, or you could go with one of Sherwin-Williams' more neutral colors of white, like extra white, right? Extra white would be really pretty with this too. So I am going to go back to my light near neutrals list. I just wanted to show you how to find the right white if you didn't want to use one of the basic neutral whites from Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore. So these are all of the light near neutral options. When we look over here at the hue families, we can see that it spans the same range. I'm going to put it in order by hue angle. Just by hovering over the title here, we get the black arrows. I click on it and we have 132 degrees at the top with Ice Cube. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. I am going to expand my view so I can see all of the colors in one view. So it goes from 137 degrees to 197 degrees, right? And our original search was 130 to 200. Okay, so literally, these are all of the light near neutrals you have to choose from. And now you can shop the list. And I suggest getting a range. So we'll start from the top. Let's get a couple light near neutrals from the green yellow hue family to test. Sea salt for sure. Let's pull a green for comparison. You can do this one. Let's do glimmer. Okay, we'll do glimmer from the green hue family. And for the blue green, let's see, I don't really love any of these that much, but I'm going to pull one just to compare it. And I think we're going to do Rain Song. So that's it. I just shopped the list and I clicked the save column. So you want to make sure that you have all of the colors that you want before you click this compare table button. Because once we click the compare table button over here, there's no going back. You have to refresh the page and then start all over again. And that's actually something we're working on for 2024. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit compare table. And the function of the table now edits the list down to just the colors that I selected. We have a green yellow, a green, and a blue green. This is a perfect range of samples to purchase. And you can go over here and you click the try it button. And when we do that, that takes us directly to a sample that you can purchase on Sampleize. I'll show you the page. So now here we are on the Sampleize page for sea salt, and you can check it out. You can just buy it right from here. Get your sample right here. You add it to cart. And that's how you get a sample of the color directly from the paint color DNA table. Let's go back there. And if it doesn't have a link to Sampleize, that's why it says sample or IZE, it takes you to the paint brand's website. And most of them, not most of them, but Behr, for example, you can get Behr color samples from the Home Depot, so it'll take you to the Home Depot. But whatever the brand is, when you click try it, it's going to take you to the right place to get the sample. And that's it. And we're done. We just found 3 colors, light near neutrals, that go with the Makrana marble. And we're going to do another one. Okay, so the hue families involved here were green, yellow, green, and I lost my pen. They were green, yellow, green, and blue green. And it doesn't hurt to take notes because I'm taking some notes right here as you're doing this. So it helps you think through it, especially when you are choosing your samples, and it helps you remember what you did and where you were throughout the whole process. So I write down notes all the time. I have another sample here. It's another piece of marble. And this one is the Bianco Carrera. So let's start all over. So here we are on the Paint Color DNA table. This was one search, right? So all you have to do is refresh the page. You can click reset if you want. I'm going to go ahead and do it so you see it. And every time you activate some kind of a thing going on in the table, it turns gray. And I'm glad it did this because these are the Dunn Edwards colors that we're in the process of adding. So when you reset it, that's what you get. The tutorial stays open, but I'm going to click refresh and I'm going to refresh the page from my browser. And now it's just like you landed on the table for the first time. Okay, so we're going to start all over. I'm going to go to the tutorial. I'm going to copy my favorite operation. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to paste it into the hue angle filter. And I'm ready to go measure this new piece, Bianco Carrera. So now let's go get our hue angle range. I have to launch my app again. And it's still there, but I have to connect my device. So click on my device, tap connect device. It's taken a couple seconds to do that. And we're connected. And I am going to take my new piece of marble right here, this one, and I'm going to place it in the lightest area first. So I usually have a process that I follow every single time, right? I do light, medium, then dark, always in that order. So that's what we're going to do. And my device is placed. It's blocking out all of the ambient light. Like, you know, it's evening now. It doesn't matter when you do this. I'm going to, you can tap this button to get it to scan, or you can tap the button on the device right when it's placed on the material. And that's what I'm going to do. So it's somewhat hands-free. Kind of can do it with one hand is what I'm saying. So we're coming in at 201 degrees for this color. That color of white. There's a little bit medium, mid-tone colors right here. I'm going to go get one of those colors and just did the same thing. Tapped scan sample, the second button over there. We're getting 194 degrees. And there's a dark vein in here, and I'm going to go get that color. So let's see if I can snag it. And I'm going to scan sample, get that reading. That's 167. And on the app, these little half circles here are the colors that you scan. So if you don't know if you're quite on a color, when you have a small pattern like this, you can refer to the graphic in the app, and I can see that one is markedly darker than the other. You might not be able to see it. So that's how I know that I really did get my aperture over one of the darker spots in this marble. I can just tell by looking at it. Okay, so we're coming in at, we have 201, 194, 167. You want an average 201 plus 194 plus 167, 562 divided by 3. So the average here is 187. So that's how you do multi-point averaging. So really the story here is, as long as we are in this part of color space between 167 degrees, where's my star? I have a reflection. 167 degrees to about 200, right? Middle of the green hue family to the middle of the blue-green hue family. As long as we're in that slice of color space, you're going to be okay. Like, you can't make a mistake here because we literally pulled the color DNA from the marble and we're aligning the paint colors to go with it precisely, right? That's why it's the perfect paint colors. And strategically, I like to choose a range of hue families like we did last time. We did green, yellow, green, and blue, green. And that way you can get a read on what you prefer, because now it becomes a matter of preference. It's like, okay, so light, near, neutrals from these three hue families are all options. Which one do I like the best? What makes the most sense with my flooring and the other elements going on in the space? Literally, these are all of my options. All of them are going to work. They're all going to work because they were aligned with the DNA from the marble. It's the final color answer. What's the point of doing a multi-point averaging? That's another strategy. If you don't want to deal with that big of a range, you could just look for paint colors with a hue angle around 187. And that's going to work because you're in the range. It just narrows it down a little bit, makes it a little more focused when you do that. Okay, so let's go find some colors. I'm going to go back over to the paint color DNA table. I already entered my operation, so I'm a step ahead. And I'm going to use the range, I'd say between, it was 201 to 167. I think I'm going to just kind of round that off. I'm going to say 165 to 200, right? You have a lot of wiggle room with this. That's the other thing that's really nice. This isn't, it's precise in that we are pulling only precisely the colors that are in your jumping off point, but there's wiggle room in terms of the ranges as far as where you are within color space, which is part of the flexibility of a color order system and why that's important. For example, like if you choose one of these colors, like, and it's from the green, yellow hue family, and you think you don't like how it's showing up, they can shift and look bluish. As a matter of fact, lower chroma colors from the green, yellow hue family can do that. So now you know, right? So it's like, I don't like how those near neutrals are showing up for me. I don't want anything from the green, yellow hue family. Well, that's fine. You can scooch over 5 more degrees. Either way, right? Clockwise or counterclockwise. You don't like the colors at 130, try scooching up to 110 or scooch down to 150, right? You can do that because you're going to be in the same hue family zone. It's not going to be, I'm going to give you an example with Bunny Gray, actually. It's not going to be the wrong hue family. You're going to be in the right region of color space when you do that, when you scooch just a little bit. Okay, we have our hue family, hue angle range entered. You want to do Benjamin Moore this time? We can do Benjamin Moore this time. And I'm going to click the search icon to activate that search. And here we go. These are all of the colors from Benjamin Moore that have the same hue family, the same color DNA as this Bianco Carrera. All of them. Beach Glass, Night Train, Nightfall. There's a Greenwood Lake. You know, these are the bold, more vivid colors because we haven't streamlined those out of our search yet. We haven't filtered those out. But that's the way hue families work, right? Hue families include all tints, tones, and shades. So that's why these are on here and within this search. And I'm going to scroll down to the bottom to see what the total number of colors are that are in the same hue family range as this color. So it's set to 100 for the view. If I click on the 3, let's see how many are on the last page. So we're looking at almost 300 colors, 250, 300 colors in total, all of them. But again, not all of these colors are reasonable or viable colors for what we're doing, right? An interior space, a bathroom or a kitchen. We're looking for near neutrals or light near neutrals or colors of white. So I can leave my 2 filters already set, right? I don't have to touch the range and I don't have to touch the brand, but I can go play around with some of these other things. Let's try just pulling all of the whites forward and see what whites are perfectly aligned. Seafoam is the only one, right? This is a color of white. Doesn't mean that colors like Chantilly lace or extra white from Sherwin-Williams aren't options because those are your more neutral colors of white. But if you want a color of white that perfectly, precisely aligns with the hue family of your marble, you'd want to try Seafoam. So this is the lightest, the brightest color from Benjamin Moore that you could try, Seafoam. And Seafoam would actually probably be very pretty. So I'm going to uncheck the whites and let's go check the light near neutrals this time. And I'm going to click on the activate search button and we have pale smoke. And you see how the characteristic of the colors changed when I changed the shortcut selection to light near neutral. There aren't that many light near neutrals either. So we had one white and all of the 3,500 colors from Benjamin Moore, there was one color of white that goes with this specifically, precisely. And you want to know how many light near neutrals there are? I'm going to shrink this up to 25. Less than 25 colors. Let's see. There's 20. Less than 20 colors. Less than 20 light near neutrals. I want to shrink it to 10. So there's 10. I want to know exactly how many. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are exactly 16 light near neutrals in all of Benjamin Moore that perfectly align with Bianca Carrera, the sample of Bianca Carrera. And again, ideally, you have your actual slab either installed or you can go measure it. And because you're using a device, it doesn't matter where it is, whether it's installed or whether it's not, because when you set your device down on it, it blocks out all ambient light. And this is only about these colors, nothing else. So let's go shopping. It's time to shop for colors. Which ones do I want to pull to sample? And I'm going to put these in order again by hue family, by hue angle, I mean. You can do it by any of these columns, not sampleized. You can do it. I need to take that off. I didn't know that was even there. I never go over there to look for it. I know that was there. You can do it by LRV if you want. This is the only resource, by the way, anywhere in the entire world where you can go get all of the Benjamin Moore paint colors and put them in order by LRV. It doesn't exist anywhere else. And it is patent pending, by the way. The design and function of the DNA table is patent pending. And that's why there isn't another resource like it. And that's the reason why I made it, because I couldn't find what I wanted in order to do my job as a color consultant. So I made my own color tools. And here we are. And I'm kind of like talking a little bit longer so I can look at these colors a little bit longer too. So they are in order by hue family. So we have a green up here. We'll definitely get white rain because I'd like to have a green in our range when we get samples to test. And your eyes could be pretty. It's the middle of the blue-green hue family at 5BG. So let's look at where 5BG is. 5BG is right here. So that is kind of on, it's pushing the outskirts of the range, kind of. And you have a choice, right? I'm talking about hue angle and hue family. This is the Munsell hue family. This is the LCH hue angle. And, you know, on the color wheel, the hue angles are on the outside and the Munsell hue families are on the inside. And you can just follow the hue angle in to see where you are in color space per Munsell hue families, which are easy to navigate and understand. And since Munsell was the template for the C-Lab LCH color space, it works. Okay, I need to pick a blue-green one. Which one would you guys pick? Pale Smoke, for sure. It's a little bit darker than White Rain. That's good. So that's good. And we have two from the blue hue family. Definitely Glass Slipper. Okay, so I've checked 3 colors from the 3 hue families that fit within inside the range. And now I'm going to click compare table. I want to be sure again, because once I click it, there's no going back. I'd have to start all over. And here are my 3 colors that I selected in order by hue. And from here, you can click on sample eyes and it's going to take you to that sample if you want it. Or you can take a screenshot. Actually, I do recommend taking a screenshot of your final selections. You can't copy and paste from inside the table. The only thing you can copy is this on the DNA table. And that's it. We have white rain, pale smoke, and glass slipper. 3 different hue families. Excellent choices. What's interesting is this color of blue is from the very beginning of the blue hue family. We're at 200 degrees, right? 200 degrees is that one, and it fits into the blue category because of math. So it's the end of the blue hue family. It's the end of the blue green hue family, the beginning of the blue hue family, and that's really important to take note of, because if you look at this and you think that it has like, a blue undertone, and you're thinking that you're looking for a color of blue, you're not going to get to the right place. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Like, this was very targeted just for the hue angle range of this marble. But if you're thinking that, it's blue, all encompassing blue, and you go to the blue, that's what we're doing. We're going to the blue hue family section in Benjamin Moore. You might be thinking that all of these colors would go with it. And they don't, right? Because it's out of range. They're not in the right pocket. Like this one at 248 degrees, that would be too far away, because we stopped at 200 degrees. That was the max range for this marble. That was the max range for this marble. So, if you're in the blue section at Benjamin Moore and you think Thousand Oaks at 243 degrees, which is all the way, we're down here, right over here. Now you're all the way over here. You're in a part of color space that doesn't relate to your Carrara marble. It's not in the right hue family. That's not where it belongs. It belongs down here. This is its family. It's the wrong color at that point, and it's going to look off. You're not going to be happy with it. Or if you're just trying to eyeball this, another scenario, and actually I have an example for you. I had a client who had Carrara marble, and she emailed me, and she was very disappointed and upset because it was the primary bathroom. It was quite large and it was really hard to get behind the standing tub. And she chose Bunny Gray from Benjamin Moore. And Bunny Gray belongs to the purple blue hue family. And that's why it looked purple. So these are some of the colors from the purple blue hue family. And they would not be the right one. Like Stormy Sky, if you're thinking that that's really pretty gray and that goes with this marble. Stormy Sky is a typical color of gray. A lot of colors of gray belong to the purple blue hue family that most people perceive as being really neutral. That's with blacks too. Some of the most neutral looking blacks can be found in the purple blue hue family. That's how they're perceived, as being super neutral with no particular hue bias. And a lot of people make that mistake with gray because they feel like grays from the purple blue hue family look the most neutral. And that would be a classic mistake, but it's not the right gray to go with this marble. And so we're in the wrong place in color space here. And I'm going to show you Bunny Gray. And if I want to see Bunny Gray, all I have to do is deselect that hue family and just go type in Bunny. You don't even have to type in the whole color name because the table is very forgiving. It will do the work for you. And these are all of the paint colors with the name Bunny in it, like Bunny Gray, 242 degrees, purple blue hue family with her Carrara marble. So she's all the way over here in color space. Similar story. No wonder it looked purple. One, it was purple. Bunny gray is purple. It's not neutral. And it was the wrong color to go with her Carrera marble to begin with. All right. So that's all there is to it. That's how we do it. You measure the color, you get your hue angle range, you go to the paint color DNA table, put it in, and you go search and you go shop for, if you wanted a darker color, you could pull the perfect cabinet color, tints, tones, and shades. Poof, all in a list. And it is super important. I wanted to talk about the blue thing again because I've told you guys about green before. You just can't say that a color is gray-green, right? We've talked about this before. Let me share it with you. Like what kind of green? It has to be a specific kind of green. And now you know why. So these are the greens. All of these colors, all of these hue families. There it is. It's bigger. Which green? We can find olive greens, which are desaturated yellows. It's the only place you can find an olive green. The green yellow hue family, the green hue family proper, or a blue green. What kind of green? And it's the same thing with blue. It's the same question with blue. Which blue? What kind of blue are you talking about? And here that is. And we're going to talk a little bit about this. So desaturated colors from the green yellow hue family can shift and look bluish, much like how desaturated yellows can shift and look olive, right? Low chroma colors. Low chroma colors, you always have to ask, is there more to the story than the yellow hue family? With the green yellow low chroma colors, you have to ask, is there more to the story with the low chroma colors in this hue family? Yeah, they can shift and look blue. So we have potentially low chroma colors from the green yellow hue family that look blue. We have the blue green hue family. We have the blue hue family, and we have purple blue. So what kind of blue? So just saying, looking at the marble and saying, well, it has a blue undertone, you're screwed. Just like my bunny gray lady, right? Well, it's blue. Well, it was purple blue. And we are not in the purple blue hue family here. We are in a range between 130 and 200, which is the ideal perfect pocket for that color. No, it was that was 165, right? I didn't write that down. Dang, it was 160. I think I did 165 to 200. That's where we were. So anyway, you know what I mean? It's the very specific focused pocket, and it's not just any blue is going to work. And I'll show you the range of green yellows that can shift, right? So when we talk about green yellow shifting and looking bluish, it's pretty much this pocket right here, this region in color space. So when you're in it between like 110 and 160, be aware that low chroma colors like Stonington gray can shift and look bluish, but Stonington gray is not blue. Stonington gray doesn't have a blue undertone. It belongs to the green yellow hue family, for example. Can it show up and look bluish? Yeah. It can also show up and look perfectly neutral with no hue bias at all. So if you don't understand color appearance in different regions of color space, then you're going to struggle thinking that Stonington gray has a blue undertone. And you get Stonington gray thinking that, ooh, it's going to be pretty blue. And it shows up looking like concrete. So it's really important to qualify exactly what kind of blue are you talking about? What kind of green are you talking about? And when you measure, when you pull the hue angle directly from whatever it is you're measuring, it could be flooring, it could be, floor tile, it could be a backsplash, then you get that specific range. And that's why it's the perfect paint colors every single time. And when you go to the DNA table, you can see all of your options in one list, in one place. And you can do more than one brand at a time, by the way. Do you want to see that real quick? I'll go over there and I can do that. And I'll show you how we can get all of the colors available from all of the major brands to match. Let's do our first sample, 130. That one's a big range. We're going to do our second sample. So open up my tutorial, get my operation, put it in here. We're going to do a smaller range. The smaller range, I think, was 165 to 200 is what I think we did. Okay, what are all the paint colors that fit in this range from Benjamin Moore? And I'm just going to add Sherwin-Williams, and I'm going to add PPG. Okay, we have 3 paint brands. We're going to search 3 paint brands for all of the colors that go with this Macarona sample. And I got to take Bunny out. And I click the go button, and just that fast. These are all the colors from all 3 of those brands in one search result. And there's going to be a lot of them, right? I'm going to go to the last page. There's 100 per page. I can estimate how many colors there are between all 3 brands. Didn't click the right button. We're still in Benjamin Moore. There was a PPG. I think there's 500. There's like 500 colors. There's the Sherwin-Williams colors. So, yep, about 500 colors. And of course, again, not all of them are viable. So let's narrow it down. Show me all of the white paint colors, all of the colors that qualify as a color of white from all 3 brands. The answer is 3. So from what, 10,000 colors, there are only 3 colors of white that match this perfectly, that align with it perfectly. Seafoam, I don't even know how to pronounce this one. Artemisia, I think it is Artemisia, and Windswept. The last 2 are from PPG. So if you wanted a very, very pale color that wasn't white looking, just had a very soft whisper hint of color to it, it would be Seafoam, Artemisia, or Windswept, and this is where you would find it. And you could never do that, just eyeballing it. Never. And also, from a curated collection of colors, a smaller collection of colors, like a lot of people like to say, Aura, you can find your color in Aura. The Affinity fan deck mixed in Aura, that's all you need. It's the Affinity colors from Benjamin Moore. None of these are Affinity colors. So if you're working with a very limited brand or a curated collection or a designer's go-to list that you find online, it's, there's no such thing as go-to colors, frankly. There's no such thing as go-to colors. There's no such thing as go-to colors, and this is why. This is why, as a color professional, you need to know how to find stock paint colors, the perfect ones, the right ones, quickly. I mean, we've been on for 50 minutes just because I'm talking and walking you through it, but I'm, getting that answer, searching all 3 brands took us probably 30 seconds to get those results. There's no way you could do that manually. There's no way. You couldn't even do the first step manually, looking through all of Benjamin Moore and determining that there were only a handful of light near neutrals that were even a consideration for that marble. You couldn't have done it. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. I hope sharing my screen worked this way, because this is new. If you have any questions or if you want me to measure something else specific, just let me know and we'll do it on another live. Thanks, everyone.